Hello, my name is Andrew Thake. I'm the Divisional Director of Resourcing Tomorrow. Delighted to be joined today by Dave Aram, who's the co-founder and director of Sandstorm Gold Royalties. Delighted to have you with us today, David.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you very much for having me.
I think just as a brief background is, for those of you who don't know much about Sandstorm Gold Royalties, is you're a precious metals focused royalty company. You've got about 250 royalties and about 40 of those are in production. So I guess my first question is, how has 2023 been for Sandstorm?
Yeah, 2023 has been a rather steady year for us. 2022 was an extraordinarily busy year, our biggest year of growth. So what we've been doing in 2023 is just really seeing some of those deals that we've done in 2022, watching them really kind of stabilize out, integrating the projects, and really focusing on paying down the debt that we acquired when we made the $1.1 billion worth of acquisitions we did in 2022.
Mm-hmm. So what do the next 12 months look like for Sandstorm? What are some key milestones that investors can expect to hear?
Yeah, really what's great about those acquisitions that we made in 2022 is it really spent a lot of time building out that near-term growth portfolio for us.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have coming up in the next 12 months is a couple of really key projects growing for us. So Greenstone, which is Equinox Gold, that was part of the acquisition of the Nomad portfolio. This is going to be one of Canada's largest gold producing mines. It's coming online very early next year, looking to pour gold. That's going to be a really important growth project for us overall in the portfolio, especially as we get into 2025, once it's gone through this ramp up period. Next year, another key part is Platreef. So Ivanhoe Mines, they've been very successful in getting their copper production going on in DRC. However, their next project is Platreef. It's going to eventually become one of the largest PGM producing mines in the world, and certainly one of the most profitable ones. That's in South Africa. It's starting and it should be entering phase one in the end of 2024, Q3 or Q4 2024. So that's going to be a lot part of the growth. And in the meantime, over that period, we're seeing a lot of the other development projects come in and get online. So things like Hod Maden, phase two at Platreef, Lobo Marte, we'll see a little bit more progress towards that. That's all new projects. They're going to have significant contributions to cash flow. They all get a huge boost and really enter into that development phase in 2024. So the great thing about what Sandstorm is today and what Sandstorm Gold has is that we have a tremendous amount of organic growth coming over the next 24 months. A lot of it coming next year and then a lot coming in 2025. That's the beauty of doing a whole bunch of deals in 2022 is that we're able to just sit back, administer our debt, and really see that cash flow come in at what has now we're entering into a period of some of the highest gold prices that we've ever had in the past.
Mm-hmm. Commodity prices in 2023 haven't been great. How robust is Sandstorm's business strategy and reliant upon the prices of gold, copper, and silver going up?
Yeah, listen, it's a huge advantage being a royalty and streaming company in environments like we had in 2023. 2023 saw commodities in general really tail off, although gold did really kind of hold its own pretty well, considering we're in a pretty high inflationary environment. That said, this is the type of year where companies really see pressure on their commodity prices, on their cash flow, their ability to provide capital to put back into the project. Pardon me. However, Sandstorm Gold has that ability to avoid those capex pressures. And even though you're seeing commodity prices go down, our margins typically don't shrink that much. However, as we've seen the gold price increase here in the last several weeks, that really gives us a tremendous amount of leverage going upwards. So Beauty of royalties and streams is that you don't have those capex pressures. You don't have to put those additional costs in there. You still make money on every gold equivalent ounce that goes out the door.
Mm-hmm. What differentiates Sandstorm from its peers? Why should I invest in you rather than in another royalty company?
Yeah, I think it really has to do with that optionality that we built in there. Sandstorm has been growing piece by piece over the last 13 years now that we've been around. We've really been very specific and careful to make sure we're buying the exact type of product. Now, what we've done, I think, with our portfolio is we have a tremendous amount of diversity of our current cash flow, much better than any of the other groups. We have links to projects that really kind of demonstrate a 15-year plus growth in cash flow of those producing. But beyond those 40 cash flowing assets, we have this other package of high optionality projects. So as we enter into a period of where we're going to need more production, we're going to see more and more capital having to be put into copper projects and gold projects, we already have that package of optionality that will grow with us. So we provide tremendous amount of cash flow and diversity attached to good projects, some of the lowest cost producers, but we still have that optionality. You know, people invest in the mining industry because they like the optionality and the upside of commodity prices, and they love the idea of seeing exploration success and expansion potential of projects. We have a tremendous amount of that built in where we don't have to put any more capital to achieve that. And that's a huge advantage in an era where we do see us going into a new commodity super cycle, especially on the precious metals and the base metal side.
At Resourcing Tomorrow, you're on a panel talking about how can we help the industry reduce its timelines from getting from exploration to production. I think they're currently at 17 years or 17.4 years, depending as to who you ask. How can a royalty company such as Sandstorm help?
Yeah, listen, we're in a real crisis right now, all the way along that whole chain of getting from exploration to production. We're really coming out of the last 10 years out of a window that we've never seen before. It's just unprecedented small amounts of capital going into the exploration side and in that development side. It's never been like that in our industry before. At the same time, too, ironically, and we've never required more exploration than we do right now, both because that demand is going to be there in the future, and also because we've never had so little capital available to it. And we've seen so little excellent exploration happening. So the beauty of being royalty and streaming companies now is that you can provide relatively modest amounts of capital to your favorite exploration teams and your favorite exploration stories and be part of that growth story and really fill that vacuum of capital that typically was provided by your speculative investor that really isn't investing in this industry like it has historically. So we see ourselves as the ability to really help foster these projects and push them forward. You know, another huge barrier to this overall exploration and development are the barriers, the increasing bureaucracy and barriers to really getting these projects from discovery to production. That is only extending, and it's likely not going to shorten up, which means that that working capital pressure and the pressure for those exploration and development companies really becomes more dire, because in that time where, call it 25 or 30 or 40 years ago, you could make a discovery potentially, and potentially within 2 or 3 years, you could almost start producing from it, as long as it wasn't that complicated a process. Like you said, we're seeing timelines that are stretching up to 17 years, especially for those projects that are going to be those huge contributors to that demand issue that's going to pop up for both precious and base metals.
One last question. ESG has obviously been sort of talked about a lot in the industry, especially over the last few years. what are Sandstorm's ESG credentials?
Yeah, listen, ESG has always been really important from us. Right from day one, we've always been big believers that if this mine can't function in the community, in the jurisdiction that it's in successfully, it's not a good mine, regardless of how good it is technically. So we've always focused on that. We've seen ourselves getting paid off for that because we're seeing a AA MSCI rating plus. We're seeing one of the highest rated gold companies in the world. We're one of the first, we're the second gold company in the world and the first royalty and streaming company in the world to get an ESG linked revolving line of credit. So for us, that's been, I think, something we've been really proud of is that we've been noted for publicly that we have been thinking about ESG and ESG practices for us. We're one of the only gold companies that really has a 50% male-female ratio in our company, and we're finding ourselves contributing more and more to our partners' ESG programs on the ground from those mines that we're receiving precious metals from.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. We're really grateful for Sandstorm's support. We really look forward to welcoming you to Resourcing Tomorrow, taking place at the end of November here in London. But thank you very much for your time today. That was David Aram, co-founder and director of Sandstorm Gold Royalties. Thank you very much for your time, David.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it and looking forward to the conference.
Resourcing Tomorrow, accelerating the energy transition. 100 plus countries represented. And together with government representatives, mining and energy professionals, ESG experts, financial and professional services, industry associations, investors, and consultants, Resourcing Tomorrow will address critical mineral supply, the energy transition, environmental resilience, the circular economy, ESG, our future workforce, AI automation and machine learning, digitalization, mineral processing and plant optimization, exploration and development projects. Have your say in the future of our industry. Join us for Resourcing Tomorrow from 28 to 30 November 2023. Register today